Hey, it's Shane again with Maxx Leverage. Going to continue on talking about some patents. So I think we left off, we're talking about structure and basically some wording, stuff like that. I think what I kind of want to talk about now is how I changed my wording. Because I had mentioned before that my patent was rejected because it was similar wording to another patent. And when I say similar wording, I mean like head was one of the words. Our tool has the head of our tool connects to a wrench. Another product used the word head. She specifically mentioned that to me, saying, "Hey, look, it has a connecting head, and this says it has a connecting head." Well, okay. It did. I personally feel she's an idiot, and it's just stupid. You can look and see it was different, but that's the story she was gonna stick to. Matter of fact, she told me that a reasonable person could look at this other product and make our product, even though they weren't even the same thing. Didn't even do no reasonable person could have done that. Our product is pretty simple, and it was difficult for us to get it to where it was, designing it. And it seems simple by looking at it once you can see it, but when you don't have nothing to go off of it, it's pretty tough. So what I did is I went into the dictionary and all the terminology to describe our product, I looked up what is the definition of, how many definitions is there of head? Like how many different words can you use to basically describe that same piece? And that's what I did for each word, and I went through any words that I thought a standard word that people use, like head or shaft or pin. Those particular type words, I changed all of them. I used a different word for pin. I did a different word for shaft. I used, just so when the patent examiner was reading it, it's going to sound nothing like, maybe she might not, like I think I used the word apex for head. And I'm not positive that's the word I use, but I'm thinking that's the one in that particular instance. So I try to make it completely and absolutely, the words weren't even, she wasn't going to be able to say, hey, this is the same as this patent because they're using the same words. Like, oh, they use the and I use the, that was how dumb it was. But that's what I did, because it takes a long time when you submit if it's rejected for anything, you still hold your place. But your time starts with your place marker. And I think the maximum time you can have a patent is 20 years. So if it takes you 6 years to get a patent, by the time it's processed, you only have 14 years left. And you can't really protect yourself until your patent's actually approved. Patent pending doesn't mean anything if somebody's a problem. You can have patent pending all day long, and I can go down there and make whatever you have. And there ain't nothing you can do about it. Now, as soon as your patent's approved, you can. And, when it takes a lot of money to build a product. So if somebody's going to copy it, which anybody can, if they feel like it, but they have to put out a lot of money. And when you're in the patent process, they never know when it's going to, they don't know whether you're going to get approved or not approved. They don't know when it's going to come out. So they're not going to want to necessarily invest a lot of money into building or stealing your product until they know whether you're going to have a patent or not. Now, once you get your patent, then they might steal your product. I actually talked to a guy that held quite a few patents one time, and he said the best place to be is patent pending. And I don't mean patent pending on the initial little place marker. I mean patent pending when you actually turn your real patent in, and you did your actual patents in, and that is the place he said is the best place to be, because you can change your patent. So if you're, let's say, which we did, you can drastically change your patent. So if it is rejected, if your patent is rejected and it comes back, you can make minor modifications in that, and it goes back to that examiner, whoever the examiner was. You make the modifications, you send it back. Now, you can make major modifications. Now, you can't just change it to like, oh, hey, I had a screwdriver, and now I have a toaster. You know, I mean, you can make major modifications in your patent. Maybe because for whatever reason, but now it's a different process. Now you fill out a form, you still have your same place, it's still all hooked together, but now it goes back into the stack and ends up with the new examiner. You know, and that can happen. So if somebody was to copy your product saying, you know, because they're going to look at the words, because they can see your patent online, they can look it up, try to do something with it. You know, maybe it's like, oh, look how he worded it. You know, I mean, so you could go in and actually change it before it's finalized. And that's something that a lot of people don't know. You can make drastic changes to your patent. So good, very good information that I learned. I learned that from the patent lawyer. I didn't know that. And I learned that because actually when it got shot back, I think there was some miscommunication with our partners and the way it was, the wording was, and I said I wanted to make a lot of changes to it. He was like, so I got disapproved for like the examiner, because I could talk to her before I actually had him, about the wording. He was going to make some minor modifications trying to get it approved. But again, like I said, just because you have a patent doesn't make it good. I have another friend that he gets paid to break patents. And he feels that pretty much any patent can be broken or got around. It really, you know, it's all about money. And no matter what, if you're willing to put up the money to fight, you can be right or wrong. Whoever's copying your patent, they have to pay their attorneys. So then, yeah, it kind of falls to the point is, hey, are they going to willing to fight you in court and spend a whole bunch of money if they think maybe they're going to lose, or it's possible they're going to lose, or even if they win, they're still spending a whole bunch of money, you know, and so are you, but that's kind of a war, you know, between two people, and attorneys cost a lot of money. So anyway, that's why it's good to have a patent. Make it as good as you know, good as you can. Really think about your product. Don't make assumptions that people are just going to know, because in patents, you know, you can like, well, you should know this, or you know, like you could basically by reading that it means this or something. You need to be really specific. And if you have a patent attorney, he's not going to know necessarily what your product does. You're the one that's going to know. You're the expert on it. You invented it, and to you, it's just feels like everybody should know. I know our product is so simple, and in the beginning, if I handed it to somebody, they had no idea how to use it. I even handed them a wrench, and they messed with it. Even me in the beginning, I think you could, because I designed it and I hadn't really been using it, and I was making a video, and I was even messing around trying to put the wrench in there, and I was like, it wasn't working out for me. It was kind of crazy, but it's you know, I don't know. People just don't see what you think they see. So you got to be really specific, really explain yourself, and take time doing it. You know, even if you have a patent attorney, I would read some patents, and I would just so you get an understanding of it. And it's going to be overwhelming. Reading a patent, it is difficult. I mean, and it takes time to like sink into your brain. Like I would just read it, you know, and spend a month. Read a patent, lay off it a little bit, and kind of absorbs in there, and then just read it again and again, and then you'll start kind of you start understanding how they work, and you need to know so you can explain it to your attorney when you're describing what your product does, and every detail that you can possibly think of to put in there. So anyway, quite a bit about patents. I'll have to watch this video and see everything that I said right now. So I kind of got lost myself, so I don't know what I have left to talk about on the patents. So I'll talk to you guys next time.